One, two, three.
This is Kyle Galaz with Poor2Pro Car Sales Training Podcast. Become a sales titan. I get to do another one-on-one training session with Mustafa. He reached out to me and he wants to get to the next level in his sales career, and good for him making the commitment and investing in himself. He just said it, man. I got to invest in myself if I want to go to the next level. And he's going to hold himself accountable to what he learns and trying to get out of that comfort zone to grow. And I appreciate you hiring Poor2Pro, hiring Kyle Galaz for this one-on-one training session, Mustafa. And let's meet him. Mustafa, why don't you tell us about yourself, how long you've been in the car business, where you work, what your plans are, goals.
Hi, my name is Mustafa Allawi. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, originally from Baghdad, Iraq. And I've been in the business for about, I'll say 3 to 4 years. I initially started out as a law attendant and then at Mercedes-Benz of Tucson. And then I made my way up to be a service technician. And I realized it just wasn't for me. So I decided to, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do sales. So here I am. And yeah, I'm a month into sales. And, last month I hit 8 cars as a beginning, as a start. So now I want to double that for July.
Wow.
So, yeah.
8 on your first month's good. I mean, my first month I did think 5.5 in Lodi, California, a little Ford store. And so doing 8's a really good start, Mustafa. That's a great start. What kind of brands do you sell?
Oh, so yeah, now I work at Volvo Cars Tucson. I sell Volvos, and also we have pre-owned cars as well. So I sell those too. And yeah, Volvo, I'm still getting, I'm still trying to better myself with product knowledge, but it's an awesome brand. Volvo is the safest car in the world. So that's what they're known for. And, I'm excited, and, I'm proud for just being part of that brand in general.
Yeah, Volvos are awesome. And that, yeah, you're right. I think when I could first remember cars, like as a little kid, I remember hearing about the safety of Volvos, and I was like
Yeah,
8 or 9 or something. So their branding is really good for a 6, 7, 8-year-old playing with Hot Wheels to know that, oh, these are the safest.
yeah,
So,
right.
and the build off of the safety, I mean, that what a backbone, the protect the family and then build off of that technology and all that. So
Exactly.
very cool. And about how many vehicles do you have on your lot as far as new and used?
So right now we're not really doing great with inventory on a lot in terms of just new cars in general. New cars, we have about maybe like 20 to 25 new cars,
Okay.
and the rest of our inventory is just used cars. So all the brands, and Toyotas, the Dodges, the
Yeah.
Chevys. Yeah.
So out of the 8 that you sold last month, how many were new and how many were used?
So I sold 2 new and I sold 6 used.
So is it fair to say that you'll probably sell more used throughout your career here than new?
Um, Well, right now, I feel like part of my issue of not selling that many new cars is just product knowledge, because I'm still teaching myself and I'm still doing research. A lot of ups that I've grabbed, they were interested in new cars, but I just didn't really know how to
Mm,
present them right, or
okay.
how to demonstrate them. So that's a part of my issue now that I'm working on and trying to improve myself on. But so far, yeah, the majority of the cars that I sold is pre-owned, just sell as you see kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The Volvo, to me, the Volvo client, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, seems like a highly educated or educated, um, knows product well, and is probably comparing to other brands.
Exactly.
They're
Yep.
not, I mean, you're going to have the Volvo customer that's a Volvo customer for life. They don't even shop. But I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people that you probably sell are new to the brand, maybe checking it out for the first time, um, or maybe just not familiar with it. Does that sound about right?
So the majority of our just clients in general, interested customers are that like Volvo. So they've already done their research. They're very techy. They've done their research from A to Z. They already know what they want, but they just want that little extra push to, trying to find what's the perfect car for them. Because we have five different models. We have the V60, which is a wagon, and we have S60 and S90, which are our sedans. There's a smaller sedan and a larger sedan, and then we have three different SUVs: the XC40, which is a small size SUV; XC60, which is the mid size; and the XC90, which is the large size, the third row SUV.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, so you got a little bit of everything.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, they strike me as someone that would come in pretty educated on the product,
yeah, yeah.
or
Hmm.
at least that type of client that's educated. I had those type of people when I was selling the Maseratis on the floor.
Yeah,
They know stuff. They know a lot of stuff. Maybe not about the Maserati 100%, but they know about cars. They're car people. They know about Porsches. They know about all these. They're highly educated in the car business, so you got to keep up with them.
right.
Uh, but hey, great job on your first month, and it's really awesome to see someone so new in the car business reaching out for a training. My gosh, I mean, I I remember when I first started back in '02, there was Joe Verdi training. I don't know if you've heard that name, but
Yeah,
I didn't care about no training. I thought, well, my manager told me what I need to do, get on the floor and start selling. But for you to be able to recognize it early, you're setting a new path right away. Like the Mustafa that's untrained could go this way, or the Mustafa that's training can go this way.
that way. Yep.
And you're taking command of your career before it takes bad turns or gets bad habits. It's very smart. And I'm proud of you,
Thank you.
Mustafa. Very cool.
Thank you,
And you got
sir.
a great look. You look like a good car salesman. You have a great look for car sales.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you have an advantage already in hey, I already look good. Now I just need to sound good and sell good and go to uh that next level. Okay, so
Well,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say mostly the only reason why I even got to 8 cars last month is because it's just work ethic. Good customer service. It's just making sure that the customer really trusts me and they trust my judgment, trust what I'm how I'm guiding them through the process, and it's just having good energy and just putting on the face where they can really how can I say this? But yeah, just trust me overall.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, when you're genuine, that really shines through. Even if you're genuine and kind of a jerk in car sales, you still can sell a lot of cars, but at least you're
Yeah,
genuine and straightforward. Or you can be a little sleazy and a jerk and not sell any cars. Genuine goes a long way, especially when you're
right,
kind, you have a good look, you're well spoken, you know your product. I mean, how can you fail? You're doing all the right things to be a good customer service rep for your brand. I sell Volvos. I think they're the
right.
best in the world. You can't fail. What we got to do is just take you to the next level and sell more
Yeah,
cars. What I want you to do, you have a piece of paper in front of you?
I do. Yep.
Okay, I want you to write something at the top. I will sell 16 cars in July.
Cars in July. Yep.
Is it legible? Can you read it?
Yes.
Okay, now underneath that, I want you to write 16 squares. Nice and clear.
Draw 16 squares or
Yeah,
just 16
yeah, I'm
squares?
sorry. Yeah, draw 16 squares.
Draw 16 squares. Okay, gotcha. Awesome.
And then underneath those 16 boxes, I want you to write, I will do everything in my power to hit this goal.
Everything in my power to hit this goal.
And then the last thing underneath that, put, am I doing everything I can right now to sell a car?
Am I doing everything that I can right now
Okay,
to
so
sell? Yep.
to sell a car.
Sell a car.
So that last one, am I doing everything I can right now to sell a car? It's good for when you're at work and you're just standing around or you're in a huddle or you're hearing about the guy's weekend story or what are you gonna do for 4th of July? Like, am I doing everything I can right now to sell a car? Could I be doing something to sell a car right now? And try to have that verbiage in the back of your head and have it on a paper somewhere like that paper. And you look at your squares. I got 16 empty squares on my paper right here. And I'm over here smoking and joking about stupid stuff like, I'm not saying you smoke, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
what am I doing to sell a car? I got 16 empty squares. I got to go fill in some squares. Leave me alone. And doing a one-on-one, holding yourself accountable and looking at that every day. I got to fill in a square. And you're starting to see you chip away at that 16. You can't sell 16 cars all at once on day one.
Yeah.
It's climbing Mount Everest, man. There's base camp 1, base camp 2, base camp 3, base camp 4. You can't just go at the top, jump, leapfrog the whole base camp. So
Right.
next month in July, Mustafa has 16 base camps he has to hit to get to the glorious mountaintop to see the whole beautiful view of success. So July, make it that mindset and see what can Mustafa do when he gives it 100%. What am I capable of if I give it 100%? Like that's a dangerous Mustafa. Agreed?
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, that's dangerous. Mustafa that's like, bring it. Watch me. Get out of my way. I'm selling 16 cars this month. That's dangerous. That's a man on a mission that's dangerous.
That's
Uh,
right, baby.
that's what exactly the mindset. Bring it on. All right. So you got some topics here: product walk around slash demo, the right time to ask for commitment. How should I reach out and catch an internet lead's attention with an email or text? And I just so you know, I'm not buying today. This is our first or second stop. We're shopping around, looking at other brands and dealers to make a final decision. Those are common things that we deal with every single day. But let's talk about the first one, the product walk around slash demo. I unintentionally and slash subconsciously, you're putting big words for me, skip the walk around and jump straight into the test drive. It could be social anxiety or pressure. So I know what it is because I've done it. A lot of times in a walk around, we and we're going to break down the walk around in a couple different ways. A lot of times the walk around, we're just kind of fumbling through, hoping what we say sticks to the customer. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it has leather. Oh, no, they don't care about that. Oh, it has a moonroof. Oh, they don't really care about that. Oh, it has Apple CarPlay. Oh man, it has Apple CarPlay. Oh, there's something they like, and then you build off of it. You're kind of just winging a walk around. It's a wing nut. We're wing nuts. We just
Yeah.
wing on a product walk around. So it's an awkward presentation, and all you're trying to get to is that test drive, but you're failing to give that customer a proper product demonstration. Like if they were to buy, let's not use a car for instance. Let's say they were to buy a giant swing set for their kids, but the
Yeah.
swing set came with no instructions. It would be a sucky experience for the
Yeah.
customer to try to build this crazy swing set with no instructions. Well,
Right.
having a walk around with no goal in mind or no blueprint in mind is kind of like that. We're both fumbling through it. The customer doesn't know what questions to ask because they're not even familiar with Volvos, or they don't know what questions to ask because they think they know it all. And I don't have any real direction on my walk around, so I'm just kind of fumbling through it. And the customer says, "Well, can we drive it?" Well, yeah. And you're like, "Oh, okay, I got to the test drive. All right, I'm doing something good." When really they just wanted to break up the awkward walk around or silence, or you are just repeating stuff from the website, which it's good to know all the stuff on the website, but you also have to know the stuff that's not on the website.
Hmm.
So this might help with that client because this really helped with my clients on Alfa Romeo and Maserati. I would simply tell them, hey, do you mind if I give you a product presentation on this vehicle? What are they going to say? Are they going to tell you no, Mustafa?
No, they're gonna say yes.
Yeah, they're going to say
Yeah.
yes. Of course they're going to say yes. They're about to spend 60, 70, 80 grand on a new Volvo. Yeah, I would like a product presentation. So just ask them. And I don't know when that happened for me, but it happened when I was selling Alfa Romeo and Maserati, not when I was selling Fords. Um, I remember doing a walk around one day and I just asked them, can I give you guys a product presentation? And the couple said, yeah. So I opened up all the doors, I opened up the hood, I opened up the trunk, and I gave them my best walk around because I really cared about my career, but I also cared about the brand. And I wanted to prove myself at this new dealership that they hired the right guy. So there was a chip on my shoulder to be the best of the best, but I also wanted to put on a show for the customer. So I simply asked them, and they said, yes, I was able to take my time, give them a beautiful walk around with no pressure of a test drive. And what was happening in that time was the price of the vehicle and the value was going like this. I talk about this a lot religiously on my podcast because it makes so much sense. The value of the car is 50 grand. Alfa Romeo Giulia at 50 grand, I didn't think it was worth it. Honestly, as a salesperson, I'm like, it doesn't have cooled seats. It doesn't have this and that. So then I started looking at what does the Alfa Romeo brand do really good? And that is perfect balanced vehicle, sports sedan, taking turns at 50 when it says 15, the performance of it, the lightweightness of it, the class exclusive things of it. And so I started talking about that stuff on my walk around. Well, does it have cool seats? No, it doesn't. But there's a reason why, because they were looking for the lightest weight version of this car. So they had to cancel some features that they felt that a sports sedan buyer wouldn't really care about. If you want a luxury brand car, they're going to be cool seats. But if you want to go 100 miles an hour around a sharp turn on a racetrack, they felt cool seats doesn't help that cause. And they were all about performance first and technology and styling second and third. So when you do your walk around, Mustafa, find out what makes Volvo Volvo. Safety first. You can't really build a sale off safety.
Yeah.
But how I would word it is the backbone of Volvo is the most important thing you could ever have, and that is safety. The structure of this building is concrete safety. And then Volvo said, now that we are the best in the world at safety, let's beat the other guys at technology. Let's beat the other guys at styling. Let's beat the other guys at comfort. And that is why people are flocking to Volvo now. So if you simply ask the customer in that weird time because you're new and that's okay, do you mind if I give you a product presentation? They're always going to say yes. I will never have a customer say, nope, don't want one of those. Like if you're about to, Mr. Customer, if you're about to spend 70 grand, I would love to be able to give you a proper product presentation. Don't say walk around because it sounds car lingo. Just say
Yeah.
proper product presentation. Is that okay with you? Well, absolutely. Boom. Open it up. Now you're not in a rush. You're not in a rush. And if they say in the middle of it, can we test drive it? Absolutely. But don't go run and get the key or don't just jump in and go. Finish what you're doing. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you a few other things that you're going to feel on the test drive. And so when you're on the test drive, you can think, okay, this is what Mustafa was talking about in his walk around or his product presentation. I want to highlight some things you're going to feel on the test drive. So let me go over those real quick, and then we'll go on the test drive. And
Yeah.
now, who out of those sentences, who's in control of the deal right now? The wholesale.
I am.
Hmm. Mustafa is in control of that walk around. Mustafa is in control of when we take the test drive because I simply ask, you mind if I give you a proper product presentation? Yeah, absolutely. Well, can we test drive it? Absolutely. I'm going to tell you a few things you're going to feel on the test drive. So that way, when we're driving and you take that turn, you can reflect back like that's what Mustafa was talking about. And you're giving them because they're an educated buyer that has degrees and all this, you're giving them the blueprint of what's going to happen. And then on the test drive, you can say, hey, I'm going to sit in the back, stay nice and quiet. If you guys have any questions on any of these buttons or features, let me know. I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the front seat. And you stay quiet. And they'll break the awkward silence first. They're going to say, hey, Mustafa, what does this button do? Oh, I'm glad you asked. That's this feature, the lane watch. That's the parallel park. It self parks. That is the active lane watch or the adaptive cruise control. Would you like me to demonstrate it? Push that button, get behind that guy, and watch what happens. So, uh, if you can take control of the narrative before the test drive, then they're going to assume you're in control in the numbers part. They've relinquished their control to you without them knowing that you're in control. Yeah, well, we're going to drive it. Let me show you a few more features that you're going to experience on the test drive. That's a man who is now controlling it
Yeah.
because a lot of failures that salesmen do is they think, oh, they want to test drive it. I'm closer to the sale. It's not. That's a shortcut. You're now farther from the sale because you can't go backwards. Once you do the test drive, now they want to work numbers. But now that you're at work numbers, you can't go do a walk around again, can you?
No.
You can't rebuild the value. You've now gone to here. So if you do the meet and greet and you have a nice strong meet and greet and you build rapport and do a needs assessment, find out what they want, what they're using it for, build a friend, and do a smoking hot walk around that's nice and valuable. The test drive is kind of quick and you're not going on a super long test drive. But if you can build value here, do a beautiful test drive, then the work at the desk has shortened. You're not going to have this long, drawn out grind. If you spend more time outside, then you spend less time inside. If you spend less time outside, then you spend way more at the desk. It's a grind because
Yeah.
the value isn't there. You're not in control. You don't have any of the things to set up to now you're at the desk with these people that you've gone and done this beautiful walk around and test drive, and they're saying, well, what's my lowest payment? Right? I'll get to that. Let's get a basic app going here. Don't worry, it's not going to wreck your credit. Well, you're already running my credit. Well, yeah, you want the lowest payment? You got to let me do my
Yeah.
job. Listen, I understand a lot of people think when they're running credit, they're buying the car. You're not buying the car. But what I am going to do for you, because I know you're an educated buyer, is get you down to the penny, payment, interest rate, dollar, everything, trade value. So that way you can look at this sheet of paper and say, you know what, Mustafa, you got a deal. Or you can look at the paper and say, you crazy? But let me at least give you that option, right? Who's in control of now the work and the numbers? You are. Uh, so so let's go back to that unintentional subconsciously skip. It's because you're not, and you can correct me here if I'm wrong, you don't have enough to talk about to wow and to razzle and dazzle them in the walk around, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you
Correct.
got really good at the razzle and dazzle and talk about things that they didn't get to experience on the website, you'll have a better and longer walk around and build more value. So, what kind of things can you talk about in a walk around, Mustafa, on a Volvo that they can't get from the website? What do you think?
So usually what I emphasize is when I did do those walkarounds, 10% of the time, um, I would emphasize style, utility, safety, um, and just convenience in general. But style is what mostly wows people, because I know that our website doesn't, talk about the style, the curves, the sleek design, the wheels,
Yeah, and people want to look good in what they're driving.
Exactly, yeah.
They want the prestige and the stature. Like, I'm driving this car. It looks beautiful. So yes, build off style. And you can build off style as you're doing your walk around. Look
Yeah.
at the curves. I mean, if this was a if this was a fighter jet, this is what I would feel like if they took a fighter jet and made a car out of it. It's just the curves and the lines
Right.
and the way the aerodynamics. And speaking of aerodynamics and styling, when we're test driving this Volvo, I want you to really pay attention to the sound of the outside. You'll go test drive our competition to the Volvo and notice like I hear everything. That kid dropped a quarter and I heard it. Not in a Volvo. So when we're on the test drive, I want you to really listen to what you're not hearing. And you'll be quite surprised of how quiet and how smooth and how Volvo has designed their vehicles to uh, diffuse the sound of wind and all that. And you'll notice on the test drive, I'm actually quite curious to hear your response to it versus cars you've driven in the past. What do we do right there? Let's break down what I just did. What did I just do to that customer?
You basically just wow the customer with just the sound suppression in the test drive. You basically tell them, so this is how sturdy our cars are with the materials that were used to build Volvos, especially with Volvos they were built with what is it, Swedish steel, basically. So yeah, Swedish steel, straight from the manufacturer. And what makes them sturdy and safe is just having a strong frame, strong materials, strong windows, and that's what basically, if you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
that's what sells the customer.
Okay, so if you're going to bring up Swedish steel, then you need to tell them why it's different than regular steel. Do you know
Regular
that
steel,
answer?
yeah. No, I
Okay,
don't.
so that's part of feature action benefit. Write this down. FAB.
Okay.
The feature is Swedish steel, right? That's the feature.
Yep.
The action is it's sturdier and it's stronger. But I would
Hmm.
go a little bit farther and tell them why. Why? Is it laminated? Is it a different type of steel? Is it just a verbiage they coined? What is the real difference? And the B is benefit. What is the benefit of Swedish steel? I get people asking me that. Well, you're going to say Swedish steel. What's the benefit, Mustafa? Well, the benefit is part of the most safest vehicle on the planet. The frame, the rigidity of this vehicle is it can't be compromised in normal things that would bend a frame on another vehicle. Oh, my friend ran over a center divider and it totaled their vehicle. Not in a Volvo, not with Swedish steel. That's the benefit of it. You're not losing the the structural integrity of a Volvo just because you ran over a curb. You don't
Yeah.
hear creaks and rattles anymore, or because you ran over a raccoon or something, right? That is what Swedish steel brings to you, a longer life of a vehicle. But I would figure out why Swedish steel. If you're going to bring it up, you should probably know the difference between regular
Yeah.
steel, American steel, and Swedish steel. But that's a good point. But so what I did there was I talked about the airflow and all the how quiet it is on the test drive. Well, I'm setting up the test drive. And now after my product presentation, I can say, hey, when we're on the freeway, I want you to really listen to that road noise or not listen to it because it's not there and tell me your opinion. I'm already assuming a test drive, so that way when I get to the end of my walk around, I don't have to ask. Now I can just say, "Hey, I'm going to go grab the keys and make a copy of your license so I can get your opinion on the wind noise, the suspension I talked about, and some of those four-wheel drive features I was telling you about." You're not asking,
Yeah.
you're just telling them, "Let's go drive what I told you about. The Swedish Steel test drive." And you go get a copy of the license and you come back. You didn't have to ask. It was already integrated in your walk around what they're going to experience on the test drive. And you can do that throughout your whole walk around. Now let's talk about the suspension of a Volvo. What do you know anything cool about Volvo suspension, Mustafa?
They have air suspensions. Um,
Okay.
every Volvo has air suspensions, so you get a smooth ride. You don't feel all the bumps and cracks on the road, or they're basically more they're more resistant to road bumps and stuff like that. So it just adds that level of comfort to the driving experience.
Okay. So how could you reword that like we just did with airflow of like, hey, when we're on the test drive,
Yeah.
try it.
Um, So, for example, especially in Tucson, we have lots of bumpy roads. We have lots of roads that have cracks, and they haven't been really well maintained or just built in general. So having our soft suspensions, air suspensions, you can feel less of that while you're driving. So you have more. So you're more comfortable. You're more. Yeah. It just it adds comfort to the driving experience.
Okay.
I know I just repeated myself,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
you're fine. You're fine. You've got put on the spot, but customers will put
Yeah,
you on the spot too. So
yeah,
now you can form it like this, like so with the air suspension I'm talking about, it's soft when it needs to be and it's tough when it needs to be.
okay,
And when we're on the test drive, I'm going to intentionally tell you to run over that pothole. And then I'm going to intentionally tell you to run over that crack. And I want your opinion, or I want you to feel what I'm talking about when it comes to it's soft when it needs to be and it's tough when it needs to be. And that is what separates Volvo from the competition. The competition has air ride, quote unquote, but
hmm,
it's just something they add to so that way they can keep up with the Joneses, keep up with the premium brands. It doesn't do anything. It's just there. Whereas the Volvo, it's an intelligent air ride system and it does everything you need. So on our test drive, I'm going to tell you like, okay, there's a pothole. I need you to hit it. And you're going to be
yeah,
like, what are you talking about? Because it goes against everything that we've learned about vehicles. But this is what makes Volvo so good is that suspension system that we have absorbs the pothole. It doesn't
yeah,
transfer to you. You might feel or hear something, but here's your suspension working, and here's the buttery Volvo. It's an amazing thing, and I can't wait to show you. We might have a hard time finding a pothole now that we're going to look for one, but right, you see, so you can do that with every single feature. Um, what other features are really cool in a Volvo when you're demonstrating on a test drive?
So a lot of features or safety features, specifically in Volvos, they all come standard. You don't
Mhm.
have to pay extra, just like compared to other brands. Everything like adaptive cruise control. You have lane departure. You have um, a lot of trim packages. They do implement 360 cameras in our Volvos. So that comes basically for free when you have to pay extra on a BMW or a Mercedes or um, just Lexus, for
Yeah.
example. So that's a big plus.
That is a big plus. So what you can tell a customer too is, hey, the Volvo, if you compare price to price, a lot of times the Volvo is more. You want to know why? It's because they include so much stuff that the other brands start a little bit lower, 2 grand lower, or whatever, and then they a la carte you to death.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, everything's an ad. Oh, you want real leather? $800. Oh, you want a backup camera? $200. Oh, you want this? And next thing you know, if you really look at a comparable to the Volvo and you're looking at that Mercedes or BMW, yeah, they start lower, but guess what? They're going to a la carte you to death. Next thing you know, you're 10 grand higher, and Volvo came standard with all that. That is why Volvo is making
Yep.
ripples in the market. That's why they're kicking butt and no one knows yet because it's like a secret that hasn't been discovered. There's a lot of things you can really um, in your walk around talk about that they're going to feel on the test drive, like those standard features. When
Yeah.
we're out there, I want you to try the adaptive cruise and just tell me what you think about it. You don't have to ask their opinion on everything, but just talk about things they're going to experience on the test drive
Right.
because they know the feature from the website. They're educated, but they don't know what it feels like, the suspension, the adaptive cruise, the lane keep assist. And that's where you come in as a professional salesperson that knows their stuff, and product and do a product walk around presentation that's captivating. It's got to be
Right.
captivating.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you lose them. If you go to a movie, and I talk about this in the podcast, I feel like I'm on repeat, but if I go to a movie and I pay $20 to get in and $40 for popcorn and a soda, and the first 30 minutes sucks, I'm going to be upset. Like, I just paid
Yeah.
$60 to come watch a movie and it's not even good. Well, you're the movie, Mustafa, with these customers. So you need to put on the show and really dial in your product presentation because if you get really good at the product presentation, you're going to notice more customers want to test drive. And when you're in command of those things, then you're going to notice more people that test drive want to see numbers because you sold them on it.
Yeah.
They're interested. Like, what's it going to take to own this, honey? I want this. Honey, I want to buy this car. Well, let's slow down. Let's see what the numbers are. You're going to get more people because you built value that surpassed the price 100%. Do you
Yeah.
think it takes $300,000 to build a Bentley? Probably not. But people are spending money, $300,000 on a
Yeah.
Bentley. What does a Bentley have that a fully loaded Volvo doesn't? They have the same safety features, but the prestige. I drive a Bentley. I drive a Rolls Royce. Yeah, they have V16 engines, but you can't go 300 miles an hour on the freeway,
Right. Yeah.
right? They probably
Hmm.
accelerate similar. It's just there's so much value in that name that people will spend the big money. And people will spend the big money with you, Mustafa, if you do those things. Okay, so jump straight into this test drive. Slow it down. Start asking customers, do you mind if I give you a product presentation? Yes, most of them will say yes, okay? All right. Anything else in that area?
That actually helps a lot because I actually had a question where um I was gonna ask, well, what's a natural way for me to transition to the test drive,
Hmm.
process? And basically, yeah, just ask them, or not the test drive, the walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ask them if I can do or demonstrate the product.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I guess that's a natural way of not making it choppy or awkward. You can just go ahead and ask. Yes.
Yeah, you know what? People, I think nowadays in today's world just want transparency.
Yeah.
And you can tell them, hey, I started asking customers if I could do a product presentation because I don't want to sound like those salesmen that are like, oh, this and that. No, I let me just ask my customer, can I give you a product presentation? And I find out that being transparent with my customers like you
Yeah,
is cool. And they're like, yeah, man, give me your best, sell me on it. And you might get a different level of respect from them. Now, when it comes to working the numbers part after the test drive, you might still have to disguise that as, let me get you the rest of the information so you can make an educated decision. Come on inside. Don't worry. You're not buying the car yet. If you decide you want to buy it, I'm not going to stop you though, and you can
hmm
have fun with it. But sometimes you got to be tricky to get them into the showroom to work the numbers because that's when all of a sudden they got a dentist appointment after the
right,
test
yeah.
drive. But tell them,
I've
hey, it's
had a
not.
couple of those, yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're scared to work the numbers because the last time they went somewhere, they bought a car, then they regretted it because they worked the numbers. But
hmm
if you say, hey, I'm just going to get you the rest of the information so you can make an educated decision, don't worry, you're not buying the car yet. They're going to come in and get the rest of the information. It only takes a few minutes, and at least you can make an educated decision. I use that all the time, and it works magic because you're not asking them to buy the car yet. It's not time to ask them to buy the car yet. The time to ask them to buy the car is when you've presented the numbers. That's the time. And that's what you have on here, the right time to ask for commitment. So let's use the demo drive as an example. After the walk around, that's probably the time to ask for the commitment to test drive it if you have to ask. You don't do a demo drive before the walk around. You do the walk around and then you do a test drive. That's the commitment
hmm
time to go in the drive. So if you've done everything right and you've presented the numbers, that's the time to ask for the commitment. Is there anything stopping you from buying the vehicle today and doing business with Mustafa, the guy that will do everything he can to earn your business? Is there anything stopping you? Well, no. All right, you got a deal. Well, the payment's a little bit high. Oh, okay, there's an objection. You
Yeah,
can't, you can't get the sale until you've overcome all the objections. And the only way you can get objections is by flushing them out by asking for the sale. Is there anything I can do to earn your business today? Well, yeah, I want to see what my trade's worth. Okay, there's the objection. So you get all the numbers, you get them approved, you get the payment, and now it's time to close them down. That's the time to ask for the commitment. When you've done everything you can and you cannot further any more until they say yes, right?
yeah,
We can't make them buy the car. So you have to go to the point where now it's their turn. You've done everything right. You've got the numbers. You did everything beautifully. Now it's their turn to take the wheel and buy the vehicle because you can't make them sign. I can't grab their hand and make them sign.
right.
And that's the time to ask for the commitment. When you've gone, you can't go any further until they commit. That's when you ask for the commitment. Is there anything stopping you from buying the vehicle right now? No, everything looks great, Mustafa. All right, I'm going to get it cleaned up. I'm going to finish your paperwork. Boom, congratulations. You asked for the sale, and guess what? You got it. If they don't commit, then you ask, well, what's stopping you? Well, it's just not the right color. Other than the color, is it the perfect vehicle? Well, yeah. Is the payments perfect? Well, yeah. I'm like, so just so I'm correct, you're letting the color stop you from buying the vehicle? Well, yeah. I'm like, I'll be honest, if that was the only thing that's in the way, that's pretty small item. I think if you just give it a chance, you fall in love with that color some more. Because guess what, Mustafa? I may not have the color they want, and I may not have the ability to dealer trade the color they want. So all I can do is sell them on the color I have. Otherwise, I'm going to lose them,
Mm,
right?
okay, yeah, yeah,
I mean, if I don't keep trying to sell the car, then shame on me for not giving everything I got. And if they say, well, it's not the right color, I said, listen, the only reason I'm asking is because this is the only one I have that fits what you want. You said you wanted all these features. You said you wanted the highest trim, and this is what I got. So just bear with me. What I'm trying to do is help you see past the color because a lot of times customers buy the color they don't want, and then they come back 3 weeks later and they're like, I freaking love this color. Finally, I changed it up. I've been buying white and black cars for 20 years, and Mustafa talked me into buying this red one, and I freaking love it. That will be you. You just got to give it a chance. And guess what? If in a year you absolutely hate this red one you bought, I'll get you out of it. I'll put you in the black one. Maybe by then I'll have a black one. And I'm just firing any bullet I got left before I lose them because I'm asking for the sale no matter what. Are there any particular things that happen at the desk that slow you down? That's like, oh, lost them. That's common.
Well, yeah, I get a lot of customers that say, "Well, I'm already or I have another dealership that I'm going to go to after this. We're looking at a similar car with a similar price range, similar mileage. So I want to check that one out first before I make a decision." Or, I got a lot of bills this month, and maybe I'll hit you up next month for me to move forward once I'm caught up with everything with my finances, or I get, I mean, yeah, that's basically it that I could think of
Okay. It's
in terms of
common.
objections.
Do you believe those? Do you believe them?
No, no.
But you accept it.
Well, I mean, because they're here for a reason. They're at a dealership, they're here to buy a car, not to tell me about why they can't buy a car, you know. So I just need to get better at basically just bypassing those hurdles, you
Yeah.
know.
And guess what, man? You've only been doing it a month, so pat on your back. I did this in my last one-on-one. Raise your hand and pat yourself on the back, Mustafa, because you're doing a good job. You're doing a darn good job. All you're doing now is tweaking it and learning and trying to find those intricacies. The thing that I know is that, let me ask you this question. If you were to chronically lie to customers, would you get in trouble?
Yes.
Absolutely. Your boss would be
Yeah.
like, what are you telling these customers?
Yeah.
Right? Does a customer get in trouble if they chronically lie to salespeople?
Unfortunately not.
No. So what are the chances that they're probably lying to you?
Pretty high.
They're
Yeah.
very high. They're very, very high. So what you got to do in those scenarios, well, I got more bills, I got to do this and that. Not a problem. Let me work the numbers. Let me see if I can put it in your budget, and you can tell me yes or no at that point. But let me at least get you all the rest of the information, because a lot of times I can do a deal with no money down. A lot of times I bring back the payment, and the customers are like, "That's it? Done. Let's sign for it." Right? And I'm trying to just get them to the farthest place I can take them, and then I start asking those commitment questions. But the thing, so when I shop places and I truly do have another one I'm going to look at, I've had no problems telling the customer, "Hey, I'm going to go look at this couch at," and I say the name of the place because I'm really going to go look at it. When a customer says, "Oh, there's another one I'm looking at this other dealership," and they're not being specific at all to what are they looking at? How many miles does it have? How many miles does it have? Oh, I think similar. It's around 80. Like that's a lie to get out of there.
Yeah.
Now, if they say, "Hey, I really wanted to see the Volvo. We're driving to Mercedes to look at this particular vehicle I have an appointment with Bill over there." They're telling the truth because it's so specific. But if they're saying, "Yeah, this is the first place we stopped. There's a few other places we want to look," and they're not being specific, they're just saying something to leave.
To
That's what
leave.
they're
Yeah.
doing. What they've gotten to a wall of you as a salesperson have to take ownership that I haven't done enough to get them to the next level. So I need to level up my game so I hear less and less of that. Totally understand. You got all the power in the world to look around, but while you're here, let me get you everything I can give you to go make educated decisions out there. And more oftentimes than not, they don't want to go look around anymore. They don't want to revisit payments. They don't want it because you've taken them to a spot in the car deal where they like you now. They don't want to
Yeah.
buy somewhere else. They really like the Volvo or the pre-owned vehicle you're showing them, and they feel like, okay, this I think this will do. And as a new guy, you can learn some things like, well, where are you looking at? Oh, well, we're just going to look around town. Okay, so nothing specific? No. Okay. So now you know it was a lie and you can keep trying to sell. Or you can say, "Hey, what vehicle are you comparing it to?" "Oh, the Toyota store has this." "Okay, let's do this while you're here. Let's pull up that vehicle and let's do a side-by-side comparison." Because maybe they're telling the truth and maybe there is a RAV4 over there or something they're comparing
Right.
to your pre-owned RAV4. And now you can go apples to apples. "Oh, I see why it's cheaper. It's an LE and not a limited like ours. Oh, it has more miles. Okay, I understand why it's cheaper now. Are you sure you want to go with something that has 100K miles that has cloth versus one that's a limited that has all the goodies and it's only 2 grand less?" "Oh, we thought it was a limited." "Oh, okay." It's not. You might save that deal. So while you have that customer, um, you go as far as you can with them. No matter what they say, you go as far as you can. I've
Okay.
never been mad at my salesperson for trying too hard and trying too hard to sell a car. I'll never be mad at a salesperson. Your salesman took me way too far in the process. Oh, okay, you're in trouble for going too far in the process, Sale.
Yeah.
So so this goes back to the value of an up or the value of a customer. That customer may buy from you if you do the right things. And you can only do the right things if you go through the steps of the sale. Okay.
Now, is there a thing with car sales like as being too pushy? You know, because I know like with just salespeople in general, just the sales just being in sales, like I know you have to be pushy, you have to be direct, and you have to ask for the commitment. You have to have some, some guts to basically not argue with the customer, but um, basically try to convince them to buy a car. You know, whether it's $60,000, whether it's $30,000 car. But is there a thing where you can be too pushy for, for discomfort, basically?
You'll know when you're been too pushy if they blow out of the showroom. That's your
Okay.
that is your tail sign, if that's the right verbiage. That's how you know
Yeah.
you were too pushy if they blow out. If you're being pushy and you guys are going back and forth and you guys are arguing over the numbers, that's just negotiating. But
Okay.
too pushy, because I've blown customers out of the showroom when I was in sales and as a sales manager because I was too pushy. So if you are chronically blowing people out of the showroom, yeah, you're being too pushy. If you're being a good negotiator and really pushing for the sale and they're still sitting down, you're not being too pushy because they'll leave if you're being too pushy.
Yeah.
And remember, you might feel like you're being pushy, but the customer might be like, this is just how it is. This is how the car business is. Or
Okay.
they like that. Some sales customers need, like, when you catch a fish, if you don't pull it, the fish doesn't bite harder. So you gotta tug a little bit. And that's with customers. You gotta go to battle with them so they feel like they won the car deal. Oh yeah, I got them to come down on the price. They're not going to tell their friends you only came down 250 bucks, right?
Yeah.
But they're going to tell them, oh yeah, I was real tough with this Mustafa guy, and I got him to come down on this price. How much? Well, see, I don't know. I can't remember. It was only 100 bucks, Mustafa, because you're that good. But
Yeah.
you'll know if you're too pushy if they blow out. And just circling back around at the right time to ask for commitment. The time to ask for commitment is when you've come to the end of what you can do. Like there's nothing
Okay.
else. There's nothing else I can do. I've shown the numbers. They like the car. They like me. They like the brand. I mean, I've done everything. It's time to ask for the sale. It's time to ask for the commitment.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to ask for it because if you don't, the guy at the other dealership will. And
Will.
customers
Yep.
aren't as good at buying cars as we are good at selling cars. And most people in today's society are scared of conflict. They're all in their little shells of comfort. So when a salesman is a little bit bolder, a little bit brash, or whatever that word is, they don't know how to react other than crumble. Okay, all right, yeah, that sounds good. Honey, that's 100 bucks too high. No, we're gonna take it. No, we'll figure out the payments because you looked at their eyes and said, "Hey, it looks like this is the right vehicle. I got to the payment you asked, and with 1,500 bucks down, I don't see why there's any reason why not to buy it. Congratulations."
Yeah.
And if they don't raise their hand to shake it, then there's an objection. Is there any reason why you're not moving forward? Oh, we can't afford the payment. Okay, let's break down the budget, and you can go down that route.
See that, yeah, that helps a lot because a lot of times I find myself limiting myself of how many like questions I ask that are too direct, that talk about payment or just anything in general when it comes to the negotiation process. Yeah, but now I get it.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid of conflict, you know?
yeah, you just got to get in the mix because someone else will.
Yeah.
Um, it's like I just said this. I just actually learned this. Comfort and growth cannot
Yeah.
coexist. If
Yep.
you want growth, then you have to get out of the comfort. You have to sweat. You have to feel fearful. You have to fight the lion, so to speak, to get over that hump to get the growth. And part of growth as a new salesperson is embracing that there's going to be some heavy negotiations. The customers are going to tell me, go ask your boss this. And I'm going to say, no, that's a ridiculous offer. I told you we deal in fair deals. If you want a
Yeah.
ridiculous offer from me, how about I raise the price 10 grand? You wouldn't like that, just like my boss wouldn't like if I said he wants 10 grand off. What we need to do, Mr. Customer, is find a fair and reasonable ground that we can both be okay with. And you're saying you're going to finance, but you're grinding me on the price. How about we figure out what the payment is first?
Yeah.
What if the payment is too low? Would you let me raise the price? I don't think so. Let me work out the details on the payment, and then you can bust my balls and you can grind my face off. But let's get to you see that conflict I'm dealing with?
Yep. Yep.
Like, we just got to get in the mix.
So,
Okay.
so don't be afraid of tension. Don't be afraid of conflict. Just balls
No,
to the wall.
well, the reason why is because it feels
Yeah.
like tension and conflict to you, but to a customer it may not. So
Yeah. Okay.
we're feeling this tension and conflict out here because we're a young salesperson. When that customer has sold a $500 million business 3 years ago, he's been dealing with trade offers. He has to deal with a crazy boss. His level of negotiations and awkwardness is way bigger than ours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He fights with his
Yep.
wife every night over some problem they have. He's already used to arguing. So
Yeah.
arguing with a salesman over fickle numbers is like, this is cakewalk, but for you it's awkward. So break out of that comfort zone. You realize, holy moly, I can push these customers far and they don't leave. Like they're just taking
Gotcha.
an a beating and they're still here.
Helps a lot.
Yes, sir. Okay, how do I reach out and catch an internet lead's attention with an email or text? People are being bombarded with spam emails and spam text. So the number it's a numbers game with emails. The key to a good email is a catchy um, subject line. So I send two manager emails out. The first one I send is the subject line is "Don't stop believing." Dot dot dot. My open rate for that is ridiculous because I can see that they opened it. Don't
Yeah.
stop believing. Dot dot dot. If I have something that says like your friends at my dealership, delete, delete. The key is I got to get them to open it. And then I have to have that first sentence. If you're on TikTok or social media, you know that the first 3 seconds of a TikTok video is the most important. So the first 3 or 4 words of an email is most important. So have a catchy subject line that may not even pertain to the car business. Don't stop believing or something silly. They open it and your first 5 words are your you won't believe how low your payment can be. Something. Or you just got to think of something. You can use AI to help you with. You can use
Yeah.
catchy sayings or this might sound crazy, but the lyrics to the song is "Don't Stop Believing." Don't stop believing.
Believe.
Everyone
Yep.
knows that song, so maybe that's why I have a good open rate. But your first sentence of your email could be a lyrics to a catchy song like Ice Ice Baby. I don't know, something too legit to quit. It's from the 90s. You
Yep.
can tell how old I am, but like if you have something that's catchy, you might be able to get them to read a little bit longer. And that's when you can have some substance, but you have to get them to open that email.
Yeah.
So the point of an email and a point of a text is to get the phone call, right? If they don't have a phone number in their internet lead, my whole point of an internet lead is to get them on the phone so I can use my verbiages and sales pitches to get them to an appointment. So you have to baby step it. Internet lead, text message. The next step is a phone call, appointment, showroom, sale. So understand why you're sending an email. You can't sell a car over an email or a text, but you can set an appointment or get the phone number. Hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you via phone number, but it doesn't show your phone number in our system. I'd like to go over some of the options I have for you to save some money. Here's my number. Text me your phone number, right? Now you got the phone number. Now you can make the call. Now you can make the call. You can make the appointment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Sorry,
Okay,
my earphones were
no problem.
disconnecting.
They're
All
dying.
good now. Yeah.
Uh, just remember the point of an email and a text is to get that phone number and make that call.
Yeah.
If you have their phone number already, you can send a text like, hey, I missed your call, or I've been trying to call you. But really, the phone number is I need to get a hold of them. And you be relentless and get
Yep.
them on the phone, because if you get them on the phone, then you can separate yourself from the common salesperson that won't make the call or is not good on the phone. Hey, this is Mustafa at the Volvo store. How are you? Oh man, I'm so glad I got a hold of you. Just letting you guys know, I know you guys inquired on some stuff, but we have some crazy promos. It's limited. And then you start going into a pitch to get them in an appointment. All right,
Sounds good.
moving on. Just so you know, I'm not buying today. This is our first, second stop. We're shopping around other brands and dealers to make a final decision. Excellent. I like selling vehicles to people that have looked around and are educated, because it makes what I do so much easier, right? You're going to take what they say and you're going to let it go in here and go straight out there. We're not going to get discouraged by this is our first place. Oh, okay. Excellent. Thank you guys for choosing us first. A lot of times customers know where they're going to buy a car by the first place they go. No one wants to go to the worst place first. It's like, hey, honey, let's go to the worst restaurant on for our anniversary. No, you go to the best restaurant for your anniversary. So I take it as a compliment you chose the best first, right? There's a reason
Yeah.
why they came here first. Now they could be just saying that because they don't want you to sell them something, or it could be the first place. But take it as a compliment. Excellent. Thank you guys for coming in and choosing us first. Really appreciate that. I take that as a compliment. And choosing the best place first is important. Okay. So no matter what a customer tells you, don't let them see in your face any kind of discouragement. Because your stocks with them come down a little bit, because
Mm.
you 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 almost fell into their trap. This is the first place I were looking, and they look at you and you're like, excellent. My name's Mustafa. Thank you for coming and thanks for choosing the best first. A lot of customers choose us first because they know Volvo is truly the best. Appreciate it. I'm going to show you why later in this. What exactly are you guys looking for? Again, my name is Mustafa and you are. Oh, and you are. Excellent. Who's the little one? That's Mikey. What's up, Mikey? How you doing? I got something for you later in the showroom. Right? Oh, I want to go inside, Mom. He said he's got something for me. Here's a Hot Wheel. Right? You just whatever. But you're selling the whole family, and you can't let that discourage you. And don't show it not one change of emotion when they say that. This is the first place I we're looking. Oh, okay, no problem. Well, you guys look around and see if you guys see anything. My name is Mustafa. Here's my card. No,
Yeah.
that's an order taker. You just lost a sale. What you need to do is excellent. Thanks for choosing the best first. My name is Mustafa and you are. And you just, that thing went in here and went straight out here
Oh,
because
no. Yep.
you have your agenda. I'm selling you a car today and you don't know it yet. You think you're going to go shop around, but trust me, there's a reason why they came here first and they want the Volvo. What they're trying to justify is spending extra money with you versus buying the cheap competition. So that's where the value building comes in. And once you can get the bird's eye view, Mustafa, of the car business, the car sale, customers, all that, it'll get easier. Um,
Yeah.
because you realize everything a customer says is a defense mechanism because they're scared to buy a car. But there's a reason why they came to a dealership is because they want to buy a car. What they're really scared about is getting ripped off. So let
Right.
me tell them right up front, listen, the thing I like about this dealership, my boss won't rip off anybody. We would rather not sell you a car instead of rip you off. Well, that's not how we do business. And you're going to find out if when we go work the numbers later, you're going to be like, wow, these guys are transparent. If you say that kind of stuff, you're lowering those guards and you're preemptively striking them that we're different than other dealerships. Other dealerships play all kinds of games. They don't show you the exact amount for your trade. They don't show you the price of the vehicle. They just show you this payment that's $1,500. You have no idea what you're buying. Not here. We're very transparent, and you're going to see the buying process here is super simple. So I totally get it. It's nerve-wracking to buy a vehicle, but let me do my job and show you how awesome it is to buy here. Like these little verbiages you're going to pick up, but don't be afraid to say them.
See, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I'll use that for sure. I was taking notes down too. And there's a lot of times where they say, "Yeah, we're gonna stop by at this dealership, that dealership, and we're doing our best to compare, different brands like Audi or BMW. We have a BMW store right next to our store, you know.
Yeah.
So when we have customers, because right now, or my store that I work at, we're at an auto mall.
Okay.
So across the street, we have a Nissan. Across the street, we have an Infinity. We have a BMW. So a lot of customers, when they pull up to our dealership, they Nissan is right across the store, or BMW is like right next door. So they're very inclined to shop around and check different cars out. So it's kind of hard to basically say, hey, thank you for stopping by here. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Here's how you combat it.
yeah,
Okay. Learn your competition. Be the
yeah,
professional because we're, auto malls are definitely more difficult because it's not like a long journey to go look at the competition. Literally, they just go
exactly. Yeah,
over the grass and they're there.
yeah,
So this is where you have to level up your game and you have to be someone worth sticking with. And knowing the competition will help those customers because after you've already built the trust with the customer, you can tell them, hey, now I know you mentioned you're looking at the Audi. And I'm going to tell you the differences so you can save time from going over there. And if you still want to buy the Audi over after I tell you our benefits, then that's okay. But let me show
okay,
you why our Volvo crushes the competition. And I'm not bad mouthing Audi. They're amazing vehicles. Don't get me
right.
wrong. But dollar for dollar, let me show you the value advantage that Volvo has over the Audi so you don't have to shop. I will save you
Hmm.
half a day by showing you the value advantage. Okay. And then that's your time to shine. Guess what? Now you don't have to shop. You know all the reasons why ours is better and why we have class exclusive features. Do you know what that verbiage means?
Class exclusive features.
Yeah.
Uh, Features that are only that specific brand, Volvo, right?
Yes. Okay. So good. So class.
Okay,
Let's use a sports sedan for instance. Okay.
right.
In sports sedans, a class exclusive feature is only on your car. It's
Okay,
truly
yeah.
in its class of sports sedans. I only have this feature. And the reason why we have this feature and those guys don't is because they haven't caught up to us yet. They're still trying to figure out how to do this. And so if you can point out class exclusives more often, you don't have to worry about them shopping it because they don't have it. Mr. Customer, a class exclusive feature means we are the only brand that has it.
Okay.
So you need to look at your training stuff and find out, okay, on this Volvo, class exclusive, class exclusive, class exclusive, class exclusive. That means none of my competition has it, and that's what you can harp on. You're going to go look at the Audi. I'm going to show you the few things that the Audi doesn't that they may a la carte you for, or they don't you can't even get it at all. Our class exclusive actually means they can't have it. They don't
Yeah.
have it because they're still behind the times. If you go buy the competition that doesn't have these class exclusives, you're buying a 4 or 5 year old model for the same price as my current one. It wouldn't say class exclusive if they had it. So it'd be like you going to buy an iPhone 10 for the price of the 15.
Hmm.
No freaking way. I want the 15. I want three cameras. I want point 0.5 mode. I want portrait mode. I want landscape mode. I want the center stage where it moves around. Like I
Hmm.
want all these features. Well, that's what the Volvo offers versus the competition. So what you got to do, Mustafa, is know your stuff and know the competition, and they won't have to shop anymore. Yes, they're going to want to look around still. I get it. But you're going to place doubt in their head. Okay, well, we're still going to go look around, Mustafa. We made a commitment. We're going to look at the Audi. They're going to go over to the Audi store, educated, and they're going to say, well, what does the Audi have that the Volvo doesn't? Because you educate them on class exclusive. And the
Hmm.
Audi average salesperson is like, well, I'm not sure exactly. Well, and they're going to say, well, do you have any class exclusives? And they're going to be like, well, not that I'm aware of. All vehicles are similar. Guess who they're going to want to spend their money with?
Volvo.
Bam. They're going to
Yep.
want to go back to the pro that already sold them on the fact that theirs is better. They just had to fulfill the shopping itch they have to go look at the Audi and the BMW. But they're going to meet average salesperson. And the difference between competition, yes, it's product, but the majority of it is sales, the person.
Yeah.
And have you ever watch like real estate shows at all where they sell houses?
I used to, yeah.
Okay, why is it that they're selling similar houses, but one guy sold $12 million last year and one guy sold two? They're all selling the same stuff.
Hmm.
Oh, it's not the house, it's the
It's the salesman.
the person.
The person, yeah.
So when they're shopping around Mustafa, it's not the Volvo versus Audi or the Volvo versus BMW. It's the Mustafa versus that guy. It's the Mustafa
Yep.
versus that guy. And if you can prove yourself that you're the pro and you have control of the whole deal, and you're, listen, folks, I'm not going to sell you a car if it's not affordable. I will only let you buy this car if it's affordable. They'll never hear that from another customer or another salesperson. And they're going to continue to go farther in the process with you versus the competition.
Awesome.
You hyped?
Oh man, I'm excited, man. This is a lot of value all in one session, So I'm like pretty confident that, I'll double my number next month.
Okay, so think about this. You have all the tools at your dealership. You have a beautiful
Yeah.
showroom, right?
Yep.
You have a capable staff that can finance and get stuff approved.
Yes, sir.
You have free coffee, hopefully.
Free coffee. Yeah.
You got AC in that building?
Yeah, we need it very much. We're
Okay.
living in Tucson.
So, I mean, you got a warm place to go, you have a cool place to go. You got free coffee, you got an able-bodied staff, you have beautiful inventory, beautiful vehicles. So the only place that could possibly be the weak spot is us.
Yep.
And what we need to do, and you're going to find out as you get better in the car business, and this is what happens to salespeople, is your growth is going to get so big that eventually your managers and your finance team in your store will be the bottleneck. Your talent will be so big and so powerful that when you
Yep.
go to work a deal, you're working with less talented people and less talented finance people because you've passed them in experience by learning and learning and learning and practicing and practicing and practicing. I promise no one at your dealership that's a salesman is doing this right now. I promise.
No.
You're the exception. You're the guy that's going to become the face of the dealership. You just have to have pride and really want to get there. And right now, you might be the bottleneck. Oh, Mustafa, he's okay. And the sales manager and the financer are the big talent.
Yeah. Yep.
Grow it. Make it a point that I will be the best. I will know the most about the product. I'll be the best at class exclusives. I'll be the best at knowing my competition. I'll be the best at getting walkarounds, product presentation. I'll be the best at test drives. I'm going to be the best at it all. And write these things down. And tomorrow, do you work tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
It's the 1st of July, man. This is your moment.
Yeah.
What can Mustafa accomplish if he gives it 100% with the new knowledge? And that is the Mustafa I would like to get updates from throughout the month. Kyle, I did it. I spoke to
100%.
you today. And the accountability of this will make you rise to the occasion.
I'm excited, man. Yeah, 100%. Every car that I'm gonna sell or new car, I'm just gonna send you a screenshot of my squares filled in on the board. So
I'm telling you, it
yeah.
works. The accountability works. And you can bounce ideas off of me. You can message me anytime. I'm very proud of you, Mustafa, for seeking training this early in your career. And it's going to be nice to be able to be parallel with you in your career and know you for your career, because how exciting it is to be able to help you. And it's an honor for me to be a part of someone's young journey into the car business and see their successes. And you only have up to go. You're going to have
Sky's
some
the limit,
months.
right?
You're going to have some months that are ups and downs, but the key is your career is a trajectory of up. It might do this once in a
Yep.
while, but it's always going up. And I look forward to being a part of it. I know
Absolutely.
we went over a little bit of an hour, but any other things you'd like to say or questions?
So far, no, you've pretty much covered everything, and thank you so much for even putting in your precious time to teaching me all the stuff that you know and all of your experience. So I thank you so much, Kyle. Like this was like I'm having a blast.
It's fun. You know,
Yeah.
tell yourself a lot of times too throughout your days and careers that I love the car business. I'm gonna be successful. This is who I am. And you'll notice your brain starts thinking that way. I am the car
Yeah.
business. I am the face of my dealership. I will be number one. And the more you say it, you got to say it. You have to say it out loud so your brain can register it,
Yep.
and you'll notice actions will follow, and actions create activity. So if you're doing things, you're going to get things. If you're stagnant, you won't get anything. And what you're doing is action. Take action, you get activity, you make more sales.
Hmm.
So
Awesome.
That's about it, man.
All right, Kyle. Thank you so much, man.
I,
Appreciate you. I'll keep you updated. We'll be in touch, and I'll for sure schedule another session with you soon.
all right, Mustafa. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye
All
bye.
right, bye.